The men can't do all the work. I mean, they can't do without the women. It's often said that what a man can do, a woman can do better.
But one thing that I can tell you is that women are great at multitasking.
Hard work has not gone out of vogue. Hard work has not gone out of style.
Be confident of what you are bringing to the table, right? The competence level that you have, the knowledge that you have.
Who are you? How and what phase of your career life are you in?
You just have to put yourself out there. That's what I would always say. You just have to put yourself out there. You have to be aware of your strength. You have to be aware of your weaknesses.
You can be who you want to be. If you grow up and you want to be an engineer, so be it. And thank God that barrier is breaking today.
Competence has no gender.
Yes.
Results,
No,
they have no gender.
Yeah.
Ability have no gender.
So the future is now. It's no longer ahead. It's here. So please take it, seize it. And for you to seize it, be committed to improving yourself. I mean, you can't continue to do things the same way and expect a different result. And be committed to that change. You will surely make it.
It's International Women's Day and you're welcome to FSDH Studios this morning, where we're having a full-fledged conversation around the issues that affect gender parity. This year, as you already know, we're accelerating action. And with me this morning are three delectable ladies who are going to be having these conversations from their heart. We're going to be discussing the issues, but more than that, the solutions as well. So come on in as we dive deep and discuss these issues extensively. My name is Bunmilofe Akingbola, Brands and Comms lead at FSDH Group. And with me this morning are three amazing ladies. Let me begin with Rereloluwa. She's a Gen Zara, if you already have noticed, but she's more than that. She's a woman of great depth and she's an investment banker with FSDH Capital. Rere, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Feeling the vibe.
Feeling the vibe, yes. I can't get over all the slangs that Gen Zers have, but we'll come back to it. And right next to her is the head of HR FSDH Merchant Bank, a woman of, if you look at her, you're going to think she's maybe in her 20s, but no. This woman is so much experience, so much expertise, so much compassion packed into one. You've not seen HR like her before. Welcome, the one and only Olubukola Lanipekun-Lawal. We call her BLL. BLL, how are you doing today?
Hello, Bumi. How are you doing?
I'm
This is
very well,
BLL
thank you.
here. Thank you.
And right next to BLL is FML. We have a thing at FSDH where we have those acronyms for everybody. FML is the Chief Financial Officer for FSDH Asset Management. Olufunmi Oletubo, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Wumi. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So let's just dive into it. Research has shown that after everything that has been done, I mean, if you think back the last 10 years at least, you'll remember a slogan for every IWD celebration. We've had Each for Equal, we've had so many of them. But still, research has shown that we need another 150 years to be able to attain parity like we desire it to be after everything that has been done. That's why this year the emphasis is on accelerating action, because if we continue at this pace, it will take a while before we get there. So the focus this year is to think what more can be done, done faster, done better to take us where we need to be. So, BLL, in your experience as an HR veteran, do you think that these issues that IWD is looking to achieve, are they real? Are they real? Are they imagined? Is there really a gap, in gender parity in the workplace?
Thank you, Bumi. Absolutely. There's a gap. What I can say is that there's been attempts over the years to fill the gaps. It's just that it's not moving as fast as it should move. And now that we're being called to accelerate actions, then it means that everybody should have their eyes, their minds on this action so that ultimately we can achieve equity, right? I've worked, earlier on we were discussing, I said, yes, I've worked in places where at some point in time in my life, you see just one woman in the management, amongst management team, or you see max of two. But in FSDH today, we're able to achieve a 50-50 of representation of men and women within the room. So there's progression. It just means that since the focus is on accelerated action and ensuring that we don't wait till the next 150 years before we achieve this parity, then as we focus on this goal that we must achieve within the next few years, we should be there. So yes, there's the gaps that must be filled, and it requires the deliberate action of business owners, government officials, leadership across organizations to ensure that this, because it's the tone at the top that determines what scales down the organization. So it requires that deliberate attempt from everyone that wants to see this happen. We have children coming, we have girl children, we have boy children, and it's important that we begin to set that tone even from now, so that next 50 years, some of us will not even be in the scene anymore, right? So it's those children that are upcoming that will be in charge, and we must let them understand that there are specific actions that must be taken for you to occupy the place you ought to occupy in the midst of your peers without feeling disadvantaged, without being discriminated at, without feeling less equal than you should be. And that's how it should be actually. If the level of expectations are clear in terms of what it takes to get to where you want to get to, then everybody can run at the same pace. Run at what must be achieved to get what I want to achieve. If my KPIs are clear, if expectations are clear to me, if what I need to do are clear to me, then I can get it without, expectation of any favors of any kind. I know that there are clear terms are set, and whether I'm female or male, I'm running towards it. We're achieving it together, and we're getting what you come to us without being discriminated at. I think that should work.
So I like what I'm hearing. You're talking about how expectations should be the judge for competence. So these KPIs are clear.
Yeah.
And if this person can do it, let them do it, whether or not they are female or male. Now, for me, you're in finance, and you have reason to say for a woman. This is your journey. How did you have situations where the gender card was played? Have you actually had real encounters where you felt like your gender could have been a barrier?
Okay, thanks, Bunmilofe, and thanks to be here. Happy to be here again, once again. Yes, in the course of my career, I would say, to some extent, maybe I don't see it. That's the gender discrimination. But just generally, there are some rooms you would be, and it will be pretty obvious to you that, you have your other counterparts dominating the room. And to some extent, because of the African culture, you will typically have to find a way, to put your points forward. And one of the things that I would say would help those sort of conversation, again, is awareness of yourself. It's very important to, as part of accelerating action, understand your environment and use a bit of emotional intelligence, And one key thing also is understanding your competent areas. Once you're sure of what you're talking about, it becomes easy to land that discussion or provide that sort of value. In the course of my career, I would say that there will be instances, I can remember one or two instances that I can share, where, if probably wants to say this is the way you would like something to go, and it's probably not going to go that way because the majority does not want it that way. Not necessarily because what you're trying to recommend is not the way, but just because there's a view. So I tell you, for instance, in a finance function where you have a lot of women, sometimes you need to achieve certain reports by end of month. End of month, the woman thing could set in for a number of your colleagues. The reality is this is something a woman would have to go through. But then you don't want that to play out in the results that you have to provide to other counterparts or to other management colleagues within the firm. So how then do you manage the situation? So one of the things that I've done in my team or with my colleagues is to say, this is our reality. Then it's important for us to front load our work. When you know that this thing might come in at at a time when it's going to affect the deliverable, it's important to front load our work such that ahead of it being requested, you are beginning to set motion in place. So when the reality of a woman sets in, maybe in terms of your health and all of those things, you are able to then juggle it without it showing so much. So firstly, awareness as a woman is very important. Who are you? How and what phase of your career life are you in? If you happen to have, raised all your children and you're just set for work, it's a different phase from you as a nursing mother who is in this career path where you need some time or quality time with your family. So you've got to be aware. You've got to be aware of your role and not let the gender parity set in such that you are able to achieve results without excuses or favors.
So I think that you are hitting a very, very important point for conversations around equity to say, understand your limitations first and your constraints, and then play to your strengths. So I'm a woman, and that's what I am. I'm not going to try to be like a man. The conversation is not how to be like a man. Conversation is how to achieve the best as a
As a
woman.
woman.
So Rereloluwa, your career is taking you're already in FSDH. That means you are onto greater things. Yeah, I know. So do you think that starting your career, have you had any moments where there's this gender bias? Do you feel like there's anything, that can possibly be a blocker for your career that is gender related?
Mm, just to stand on what they have spoken on, beginning a career as a newbie, we're all like in a pool, fresh heads, or I would say green fields, and you just have to put yourself out there. That's what I would always say. You just have to put yourself out there. You have to be aware of your strength. You have to be aware of your weaknesses, and then you have to be able to remove that bias. Where there is like, oh, as a lady, I won't be able to put in my best foot forward for one reason or the other. Oh, I'm not bold. I can't take the stand. If I speak this way, they'll say, oh, you're a girl, you're speaking too much. You need to first remove all of that from your mind. Be true to yourself. Put in the work ethic. Put in the effort. No one will be able to deny when they start to see the results. And that's what I would always say, even to the young ones coming up. Remove the culture of canceling hard work. Hard work has not gone out of vogue. Hard work has not gone out of style. You have to be excellent. And when your work shows that neatness, that excellence, no one will be able to like pull you down. No one will be able to deny that you are fit for that role, you're fit for that job. And when you speak, you're able to sway the room because they've already seen what you can do. So I wouldn't say there is I would say most of the time we'll just put that limit to ourselves because we are newbies. But that's the advantage because you're new and you're all in the pool. You get to put your best foot forward. You get to have that feasibility and be your biggest cheerleader. And that is how you set the tone of your career. So that's what I would say.
So the question is really beautiful because it's beginning from us looking within. What we are saying is that the first level of bias to even remove, where it's first accelerates action, is to break the bias that women put on themselves.
All right.
I think I'm hearing that. I know there's research that says that when you go to any entry level pool, you find gender parity, sometimes 50-50, 60-40, all young minds, amazing results, looking to take on the world. But by year 8, 9 in the career trajectory, by the time you begin to approach some sort of leadership, team leadership, middle management, you're going to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th year. Women tend to drop off by themselves or because there's this situation at home, I'm getting married. See, Oluwa's rock, for instance, now. I'm getting married, I just had the baby, I can't combine this. So a lot of women that would have been amazing CEOs have a talk shop in front of their house. A lot of women that would have been amazing business leaders selling on Instagram just because by themselves, they told themselves, I can't do this. So let's come to HR. Is there such a thing as an inclusive workplace that is built to encourage women? Is it really possible? Are there policies that if they were in place, these women will feel like I can live my dreams and still raise my family? Because let's be fair, I'm frank. Women are naturals. You're going to carry your children in your heart. You're going to go through all these emotions. What really is possible?
Yes, there are workplaces with such policies. And I believe that all workplaces should actually put such policies in place because the truth is, the men can't do all the work. I mean, they can't do without the women. And it is often said that what a man can do, a man can do better. So we even need more women in the workplaces these days. It's an item. Anyway, so what we've done at FSDH is, having a policy. So policies are a set of rules that guides behaviors in the organization. And there are clear, statements that speaks to expectations both from the employees and from the employer of labor. And so when organizations, put policies in place, organizations must have, the back of their minds while setting those policies, what those policies will ultimately achieve for them. So in an organization that is inclusive, where they're already thinking about the women, community within the organization who will definitely have these naturals that we've been talking about here. They must experience the monthly women experience, they must, be pregnant, must have babies, prenatal, postnatal, all of those experiences must be part of their life as employees. And having that at the back of their minds, the policies must be inclusive. So I'll give an example. I think it was in 2018 when the federal government reviewed the maternity leave from 3 months to 4 months. Immediately, it was gazetted. FSDH, we quickly amended to reflect that we have 4 months for maternity leave. And at the same time, we also put in place a paternity leave policy because we know that even though it's the women that carry the pregnancies, but the men who are also our employees also have a part to play while their wives are going through that experience and when they come out of it. In fact, the first few days, the woman is yet to get herself, so the men can actually feel it. So we also put in place a maternity leave. And that's to ensure that that balance is in place for an employee. Beyond that, beyond the fact that, you're looking at mat leave, you're also looking at so many other things that could happen in life of a feminine employee. There are times that it's not within your control. You don't just have control over it. And you're not able to deliver as much as expected during that period. Funmi earlier on mentioned front loading. And you must also have at the back of your minds that an employee that is an exceptional performer who experiences a downtime because of a downtime of a few days, because of a situation that is beyond their control, you're not going to use that against such an employee. You have to remember that time that employee has given his or her best. So you won't play her down or play him down because of that experience, occasional experience. It is important that organization now have those policies. And I know that in 2023 also, the federal government also is looking at even increasing mat leave to 6 months. That there's a reason, yeah. Yes, for the upcoming, Gen Zs and millennials like Rere. So, and there's a conversation that is ongoing. So, and there's a reason for it. And that's because it's important that organization begins to understand that it is just the makeup of the woman. It's not within her control. She didn't make herself to be like this. And what must happen naturally must happen in the life of every woman. So organization must understand that when you are recruiting a female employee, you must recruit her with this part of her life. I know that way back, several years ago, it was a major issue in the banking industry where organizations be talking about, when you come in, you can't be married for 2 years. All of those conversations don't happen anymore because now the labor law even speaks against it, and they're waiting for such organizations that will be requesting such from an employee before joining. So this is the time that organization begins to have policies that are, that have gender parity, that are inclusive, and makes it known that there's no bias or discrimination whatsoever within their environment, because that is what is going to speak to the sustainability of such an organization. Now, female employees are aspiring as high as their counterpart, right? So nobody is aligning himself or herself rather to be limited because I'm a female, right, in the room. In as much as I'm bringing to the table, I'm contributing to the table as much value as my counterpart, right, male counterpart within the organization. Equal opportunities, which is what we speak to at FSDH. Equal opportunities for growth, equal opportunities for career progression, equal opportunities for development. So you can grow as far as high as you desire to, in as much as your capacity and capability is speaking for you. In the results, you already mentioned results earlier, in the results that you bring to the room. And no one is able to speak down or look down on you because of 1 or 2 days of you being unavailable for reasons that are beyond your control. And so organizations, government must look beyond that. And I'm talking about policies. Federal government has a bit of some interesting policies, national gender policy, and I think it was revised in 2021 or so, and is in effect 2026. But I'm looking forward to seeing the inclusion of more women in political appointments and lecture offices. That's much we don't see in Nigeria. So having the policy is good, but we want to see the policy actually in actual effect, right, impacting the lives of the women in Nigeria. If we have more than 51% women, as voters, right, and then we should also have representation of more women, right, in political appointments, because we actually have great women in Nigeria that can deliver great value to this nation. And we've had some in the past. So government should also look into this so that you can see the policy that they've enacted, come to life.
You're a real parity crooner, because it's the way you speaking for the female,
Yeah.
speak for the male. You have degenderized capabilities
how it
and
should be.
competence. And like I
Yes.
always say, nobody argues with results. Everybody's happy with results. But what often plays out is that a lot of women still feel like, if I don't, I have to put in the extra, extra, extra. So, say for instance, there's an opening for your dream job, and there's 60% skills match the male is going to up and go for it and say, let's see what happens. The female is going to wait and say, oh, maybe in another 3 years when I have 100%, and she's just not going to put herself that same way when she's even in the job. She's not likely to blow her trumpet and say, this is what I'm doing, this is how it's going. Do you think all of this goes back to the way we were conditioned when we were growing FML? What do we do to accelerate action in that regard, to say, how do we raise, because it's still the women that raise these children. We're the ones who raise the men who disregard the women eventually. We're the one who raise the leaders who make funny laws. Do you think that there's a role to play in all of this, with actual raising our own children as we choose to have them, and even with workplace mentorship and all of that? Where's the role of helping women be able to stand up and reach for opportunities and be audacious? Yes, that's the word, Ray. FMA, what's your take?
Okay, so I think in terms of raising, say, the girl child, it's important to see firstly a girl child as a child. And, the moment you are beginning to think, oh, you're a girl, you're a boy, there's some form of limitation that is already placed. So I think, first of all, it's about you're a child. And there are certain things that you must do as a child. You must be competent, you must be knowledgeable, you must be able to break barriers. All of those prep is very important in raising a child. So generally, we're having a conversation before and we were saying that even when you go to a super mall or to a store, even from there, the child is saying, "No, I want to buy this toy," being a car toy, and someone is saying, "No, but you're a girl. Why do you have to buy a car toy? You rather buy a Barbie doll or something."
With the comb and the eyelashes.
Do you understand? So, but why? What if the girl child is really just trying to explore on her motor skills? We have a lot of women who are engineers today, so you never can tell. So I think those little things already set the barrier at the point of a child being raised. So in addressing that, I would think that, as parents or as guardians or as elders, we must consciously put to play that a child should develop his skills as she is. That's not to discredit the fact that women do much more. And the truth is, women are great at multitasking. I can tell for free that, when you put a guy counterpart to do so many things together, they're finally telling you, what, please don't
one
stress
after
me.
the other.
Please, it's just one thing. But one thing that I can tell you is that women are great at multitasking. So knowing that, it's really to find a way to harness those skills in a girl child, but not to limit them to certain areas. These days, the women are meant for the kitchen. Who says so? A chef is meant to be in the kitchen. However,
Do you know that most chefs are even male?
Yeah.
I find this interesting. Most chefs are male.
do you understand? Because but in the home front, you would typically find in this part of the world.
What you said just reminded me
in
of one
Africa,
time. I went out like with my girls and we're just having, and this man, I was a chef, was so respectful. Ladies, do you like the food? I was asking my friend, like, does his wife know he can cook? Do his children know that?
Yes.
I imagine that he's going to leave that job and then go home and say, where's my food?
That's it.
Exactly.
Exactly, man.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, again, it comes from the background, the training. So if the training already just spells out the fact that, hey, you can be who you want to be. As a girl child, as a boy child, and speaking to gender parity, you can be who you want to be. If you grow up and you want to be an engineer, so be it. And thank God that barrier is breaking today. If you look at the aviation industry today, you would typically see that it's denominated by our male counterparts. Great stuff. But what are women waking up to? You see a few of them. Do you see? So if we're saying we want to accelerate action, the training and the consciousness for parents to say, hey, you can be who you want to be. So what that would cost you would be training, consistent searching for knowledge, because when you're in the room and people are saying, oh, this is not for a male, for a female, you can say, why not? Look at me, I can deliver on this. And all of that would then begin to boost your confidence as a woman or as a girl to say that I can do and I can become who I want to be. So I think for parents or for guardians or elders, it's really to continue to build this consciousness into us, into our children, into people that we have the opportunity to nurture, to say you can be who you want to be regardless of the gender parity.
All right, thank you. So, talking about nurturing, we often hear about how women are the worst people to lead women. There's other conversation, a whole hashtag, you relate, women helping women. Yeah, and you say, oh, women tend to want to cut the ladder after they've climbed because they went through so much. They don't want you to. Lorraine, in your career, have you worked with women, but female bosses? You find this to be true? Is it really possible that women tend to subconsciously or unconsciously, relegate other women when they work together?
Good question. Yes, I've worked with women, and I would say for this, it goes both ways. And again, I'll piggyback to the role of social media, of internet in this time and days. So you hear a lot of fact that okay, yes, sometimes there's a school of thought that women we support women, then there's another school of thought that women cut the ladders and all of that. But I've seen those two roles being played in my little experience in the corporate space. Yes, a situation whereby I had a boss, a female boss, and as a lady, you have the gift of being able to pick to details, like you're very, very detailed in your work. So whereby you give her, she gives you a task and you submit, and she's saying, "Oh no, this line is not properly
Like the
detailed."
tiniest
A
little
male,
thing.
yeah, a male might not necessarily see that, but because she's a female, and I recognize that because I'm also a female, in that moment, I was already grudging, like my other male counterparts would do, like, "Ah, this woman has come again." But in that moment, like it was just like a light bulb that no. One of her advantages, or one of the advantages she brings as being a woman to this job, is being able to pay attention to detail. So if she's telling you to correct this, it's because her output has to be very, very neat. And as a woman that you recognize that you have to support, and just in that flip of the moment, giving her back the work and even hearing her feedback to me that, yes, Riri, thank you for this. It really did something to me. And I was like, in that moment, I was able to remove myself from what culture is even imposing on me that women don't support women, because I was lucky almost being in that space where I'm like, why is she being this way? Is she trying to was sabotage me? And so I would say in moments like this, even as ladies out there, you have to support. If you have a female boss and she's a particular type of way, you should think back on why she's being that way. You should also see on how you can relate to that and put in the job. Like I would say, remove any form of emotional bias and put in the job. And then the next part is the roles also of women having female bosses in your workplace, because I can say for free, I can just meet, Mrs. Fumi is on my floor. Numerous times I've met with her, even though she's not in my, department, met with her, speak with her about things I can't necessarily bring up to a male boss. So the fact that I have her there, it means so much to me, because imagine me surrounded by just male bosses. There are
How
so
do you
many
explain?
things. How do I explain some things? And I can tell you numerous times where she has actually come through for me, I would say our journey, we're not on a solo journey. So having these people, they actually advantage us. So we can't do without them. And you shouldn't fall into the role whereby you are one of those people that are saying women don't do this or women are out to get each other. Instead, you should look at the flip side of she being there as my boss. How can I make use of her? How can I
Get the most
get the most
from her.
exactly from her?
All
So
right.
that's what I would say.
Thank
I'll
you.
just
Riri.
add to
Yes, I was
what-
just coming to both of you because you have led women
just-
and you have led men. Is there a difference with leading men and women?
Wow.
What's like have this conversation? What's different?
I think that they're just individual differences, right? And you can't use one role because it's not a one role fits a profitable approach, right? So I've worked with women and I've also worked with men as line managers, immediate line managers. And what I would say to this conversation, and especially this point that Riri has spoken to, is be confident of what you are bringing to the table, right? The competence level that you have, the knowledge that you have, the value that you add to the team. And that will continue to speak for you. And I don't think that you should back out, or backtrack because your line manager has behaved in a particular way to you. And I'm sorry to say, this generation are quick to backtrack.
Mental health generation.
Cancel
They're so
culture.
quick. They're so quick to backtrack. Yeah. They're so quick to say, I'm tired. I can't take
can't
it.
do this.
I can't do this. I can't handle it. And
true.
honestly, how many of such you will not be able to handle before you realize this is actually the real thing?
Where the world
And that you
works.
must and you must confront it. So confront the giant, confront him and move on. Move on to greater
It's usually
things.
for a little while.
It's just
I
for a
just
short
have to
time.
add, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it might even be that at that point in time, that woman that you're talking about is also going through her moments.
Exactly.
Right? You know? Going through her moments. And that's why she's reacting like that to you. And you are taking it personal that she doesn't like me. One of the things that I've done in the past that worked for me. So it's okay to say, oh, managers should manage their teams. I also believe that team members should also manage their managers.
Yes.
So managers are managing downwards. Team members should manage upwards as well. And one of the things you can do for your line manager to help your line manager is actually to help them understand. So reverse mentoring indirectly. They didn't solicit for it, but you're providing it. So you can actually go to your line manager, especially when he or she has behaved in a, and I'm saying he or she now because you call me the way. He has behaved in a way you least expected. Open the door without being confrontational, without being rude. Sit down and ask, what happened this morning? I saw a side of you I never knew existed. Put them on the defensive. Because you're also supposed to help them be better at what they're doing. But, people are quick to just,
Play the victim card.
play the victim card one, but just conclude that this is how this person is. This person can't change. And that's not true because the truth is that person is probably not aware of what you're saying.
Yes.
And you just take it that he can't change, that's how he's been.
Yes,
but he's
that's
also looking for the truth. What you are going to discuss with him is possible 1, 2, 3, 4 people have already said it before that he didn't realize. But coming from someone junior to him and telling him like is counseling, even if he didn't take it very well, but he will take it very well later. And I'll give an example as I close so that Olufunmi can also speak. I'm in a place, I came across a very senior colleague in the organization, and every time I talk to people, people will say, leave her, oh, that's how she is. And I say, we're all in this organization. We're all employees in this place. Okay, this person is senior to us. But however, we also have responsibility to let this person be better. Right. And I realized to myself that, and I said to myself, it's because over the years, people have always been afraid to actually let her see
That side of herself.
that side of herself that she needed to improve. And honestly, in fairness to her, a few times I had to engage her on this, my observation and her reaction to me. She took it very well.
Can
She
you
said,
imagine?
I'm telling you. She said, thank you. Oh, okay, I didn't see it that way. And then the other one explained to me, oh, this is what. So I'm telling myself, but everybody just assumed that they've already formed an opinion. This person can't change. It's like they just avoid her. And it's not good. So gender disparity in the organization, whether you are on the way up or you're already up there looking at people down the ladder, it's important that you understand that everybody has a part to play, everybody has a role to play. And it's important that you, especially for those down the ladder and are looking up, you ensure that that person up there, you manage them well to the extent that they don't get you to the point that you're getting yourself off the ladder completely. And that's what a lot of people do these days.
Yeah.
Because you need to be at the top of the ladder.
True.
Forget about where you are currently. You are
True.
going to be at that top. So 2 things happening. You're learning how not to react to people, how not to treat people, and you're also learning how to manage the people at the top. So when you also get there and somebody is trying to help you manage and be better, you can also take it. So it's important.
You know, when you talk about gender conversations and talk about bring your chair to the table, people often think it's a matter of force and but I feel like this thing you just shared is a way of bringing your chair to the table. Bring your own table to the table. I'm a fan of getting a carpenter.
Yeah.
I really believe you get your carpenter.
Yeah.
Your table at your house, build it, bring your chair.
Yeah.
But we often think, we have to fight to finish. Just having conversations, just learning what not to do.
Yeah.
Just, sometimes you can address, you can't talk to me this way, and this is why. Not being, and one thing that's come around a lot is leaving your emotions at home. When you're coming to the workplace, it has come around a lot. Have you had any benefit from mentorship for FML with regards to separating your emotions? Because women are very emotional. A lot of times it doesn't play an advantage. You have a conversation is being hard, and because you're in your feelings, you can't express yourself at that moment. What you should say, it, but what's your experience with separating emotions from competence? Have you had any mentorship help What works for you?
Okay, so thank you. I think a lot of times as women, we are built to be emotional, just being
That's how we're
women.
created, yeah.
That's how we're built. But what's very important is to always understand what our objectives are. Once we understand this is where we are going, it becomes easier to dimension how and who will help to achieving those objectives. Now, one of the things you asked before was in a place where you have both male and the female counterparts, which one works better? And I think BLL already put justice to it. The truth is, the male and the woman, again, it's about competence. If you're competent at what you're doing, it doesn't even matter if you're a male or you're a woman. However, if those moments are times when, you are probably not in a good emotional state, I think one thing that would help is communication. Because if even your superior is not in a good place, and you yourself you're not in a good place, and either of you are not even communicating, either of you are not even communicating, the feelings to each other. One thing that I've done in time past is, sometimes I'm not in a good place. Honestly, it's not the right time to talk. So if I want to communicate my intention, I'm probably just sending it as a message via Teams. And, because you still have to communicate in the workplace, regardless of, verbal communication. So some people will talk to you and say, hey, I noticed I wasn't getting what you were saying via Teams. And say, the truth is, I'm not in a good place today.
Let's talk about this. Let's have this
Can we have this discussion in few hours? And the person is probably just telling you, okay, sorry, what's going on? I hope you're okay. What is it? Is there something you want me to do? And you find out that even before you end that conversation, you're already back to the real objective
because what you need to discuss.
You opened up. But the moment you're not opening up, you find out that you are boxed in that emotions and you're not finding an opportunity to express it. So one thing BLL said is delegation or managing upwards and downwards, it's a joint responsibility, whether as a woman, whether as a male. Right? So it's important to always find ways to find expression. Know what works for you. And just to manage your emotions and achieve your objectives, it takes a whole lot. It's for you to understand, where do I stand in this conversation? How do I see this person reacting to what I'm saying? And how can I get this person to understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you might not be at par, but in most cases, keep it at the objective.
Thank you. I'll just add to what she said.
Please add.
And it has become things have become so easy to, very easy now to achieve because there's nothing you can't learn. So even your emotion, you can go and learn about emotional intelligence, how to manage it, how to improve so that you manage better, so that you relate better. Because the important thing is when you're within the confine of, a workspace or workplace, there are acceptable level of behavior to the people you have to relate with. There's minimum decorum that is acceptable. So to the extent that it gets to maybe bullying or, it cannot be acceptable. So you can actually learn how to improve. And you must be real to yourself by actually telling yourself the specific areas of improvement. And one other thing that I believe one can do is ask, what are the areas you think I need to improve upon? I used to say, people, get the feedback. And you mentioned something about mentor. You may not be able to tell that to your down the line, but you can actually say that to someone that, that's maybe senior that you respect, you look up to, or who has achieved what you're looking to achieve. Sit with them and have some real conversations about what you're struggling with. What are your struggles? Because the truth is, everybody at some point in time have those struggles. And you learn it, you improve, and you get better.
All right.
And I would say something
yes,
here,
please,
right? And because we are more towards the emotional side, once you take that action into learning how to manage it, you are just like here. And then you begin to see that this emotion thing, it's not even restricted to just females, even the males.
Correct.
Right. So now that you've been able to master it, now you're able to now see it play out, even in males. And you're like, no, don't let's do it this way. Do it this way. And why is that? Because you've already taken action, steps into learning and being better.
Yeah, so accelerate action with regards to growing your emotions to the place where you're able to thrive, regardless. And if I wanted to caption everything we've said, competence has no gender.
Yes.
Results, they have no gender.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ability have no gender. But what do men need to do? The he for she's who want to help us accelerate action. Is there a role they have to play? Do you think there is something that men need to do to help us, accelerate action?
I think that men just need to be more honest with us. They have to be real with us to realize that this is who we are and give those feedbacks. The way the feedbacks are also provided is also important. You don't want to give a feedback to a woman who feels like this feedback is not genuine. So you've got to give feedback not from a malicious place, but more from a genuine place. Because at the end of the day, we want it to be a better place. We want to be a better environment, whether a better world. So if or she's will just find a way to always give the feedback to the woman in a way that it gets to them and it sinks for a better action.
To communicate clearer, even as males. All right, it's been a fantastic conversation.
Thank you.
Before we leave, just a quick, just so that we get to know you a bit, I'm just going to go around the room and ask you some very, very few questions. Are we ready? Efe, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like when you were a child?
I wanted to be a singer.
To be a singer. What are
And
you
a
doing
dancer,
today?
and I still say it all the time. Like, you know what? I just want to sing.
So do you
have a
sing
soft
now?
life. I still sing,
Okay.
but I would have loved to, bring out that part of me more.
It's not too late.
It's not too late. I still do it. I still do it.
You can-
Yes.
you
I
can-
just
you
wanted
can begin
to-
today.
Like chilled life, no stress. Just
So you just want to wear makeup and hold the mic and
soft
sing,
life, like
travel the world.
Do you understand? I was telling you the other day, oh my God, I'm stuck in front of this screen when my friends are somewhere in Bahamas in front of the
Just plan it. It will happen.
you can always make up for it anyway.
When you blow, remember that you started from here. What did you want to be when you were young?
I wanted to be a doctor, but then I
what did you-
realized early enough that I didn't like blood. And I was too emotional to see people hurt or in pain. So, whereby doctors, yes, they are emotional to see people in pain, but they want to do something. I'm like, no.
Go away. So I was a bit. What was your aspiration as a child?
Okay, as a child, I think I wanted to be a lawyer.
wow.
Yeah, and I wanted to be, and a few people actually told me that you make a good lawyer. I don't know why I didn't go.
I think you would still make a good lawyer. Now that I think about it, yes.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you discuss your employee issues. Like this person, consider it again.
So even though I didn't study law, I think that's part of me.
Natural.
It's still
It
there.
still comes out, yeah. And my daughter studied law, so it's good.
You're already a lawyer.
I
Yeah,
knew,
mommy lawyer. What did I want
looking
to
to
be? I wanted to actually kill a bacha. That was my first ambition.
Nice.
That was my first ambition as a child. I won't
Are
even
you
lie.
kidding?
So then, from there, I wanted to be a pharmacist and cure AIDS.
Okay.
Then I wanted to be an architect.
Wow.
But then I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh my God.
So my parents had the different. Then I landed here. I think I'm doing a bit of everything eventually, and it's beautiful. So, is there one woman that you look up to that's done amazing for herself that you feel like this is one woman I really admire? Anybody like that?
Who's going first?
Who's going first?
I mean, I could go first. I would say Mrs. Ibuka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really like the way she carries herself. I like her story, her journey. Makes me feel like, even if now your beginning days are still like low key, but it can get to the top eventually, and without having to, what's the word? Get favors, because that's one of the things she said. She said, I never took favors. You can like vouch her words. So.
And that came from BLL a lot. Say don't expect favors. Put in the work and
Louis Frankel said, "Nice girls don't get the corner,
corner office. Yeah.
It's not by being nice. It's not by
Yes.
smiling.
Absolutely.
If you bring what matters to the table, nobody can push you aside because you have a voice at the table.
True.
You have a voice at the
Absolutely.
table.
Okay, maybe before BLL, Dr. Bumilofe is someone I really admire a lot. I think the second person would be Dr. Kunjo Wela.
That woman is
Yes,
she's a
another
boss lady.
level.
She's an economist. When I got into finance, it was pretty obvious to me that being an economist isn't things, and I really like that part of her. She's been able to break a lot of glass ceilings, and she's just been very consistent over the years. I think for me, one of the things I admire about her is about her consistency, willingness to continue to improve and learn, and just being great.
Fantastic. Well,
Okay, yes, they've mentioned two names that I also had in mind. Whilst I admire them from afar, but the one that comes close home to me is Bukola Smith.
our BOS.
Our BOS.
Our BOS. Phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
She's a woman of many parts. And why it resonates so much with me is because there are areas of my life that I see in her life. And I see how she has, achieved great results in those areas as a wife, as a mother, as a lover of God. I mean, I see all of that, and those are areas of my life also that I'm pushing and I'm trusting God for. So she's close enough for me to actually see it possible in the life of
To
every
say
woman.
these things can be
Yeah,
done.
it can be done, and she's doing it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that she's also been consistent as well.
That's
That's
it. Yeah.
The growth has been consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You talk about self-awareness. She's very self-aware.
Cheers.
Very intentional.
Cheers.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of Maya Angelou because at the core of it, I hope to retire early and become a traveling author. He's still in the works. And I really believe that female or female, nothing is impossible. So yes. So finally, before we go, what's your destination, your favorite destination? Like if you had all expenses paid
Oh my
and
goodness.
you did not have to
Is
work
that
for a
coming
year.
with this? Is it coming?
It had better. It had better. I should be financed by.
You're CFO,
You have
right?
to be financed by.
You're CFO,
To be financed
She's
by.
already, she's already
I
pushing
don't know
the
about
money.
the budget. I don't know about finance. I just want the ticket.
So my mission is free. Thinking is free. Let's start from there. It just don't cost anything. If you had a whole year to yourself, like this year don't work, we'll still pay you. Go anywhere you want to go. Where would you go?
I would say like a small town in Europe, probably like Georgia.
Okay.
Just retire to become a farmer. I like to envision myself planting lots of things because I'm trying to do Team Fit Farm now, So just, being able to plant some healthy foods around the house and just being in a small town where everybody knows each
Everybody.
other. And everything is just cool, removing the noise of
How you coping in Nigeria like this? Because this thing you just described, and you live in Lagos.
my body's here, but like I was somewhere else, So that would be for me.
FML, where would you like to go? You had 1 year free, all expense paid. Just go and where?
I think I want to think about it for the first 2 months.
Just sleep first, right? Do you know how important sleep is?
Maybe this my condition right now is making me speak this way. But I want to just think about it for the next 2 months. But I mean, ordinarily, I would want to be in a very peaceful environment. And, I think what Rere described is not
Sounds
far
very good.
from where I would
Sounds
want
very
to
good.
be. Yes, nature, anything to do with nature, just admiring nature in its true self, birds, beach.
Actually, people like birds and things when you live in Lagos. When did you see a bird last?
In the village. In the village. Just go there. You will find a house, you'll find a hut.
And just be
A hut, and then in the morning, somehow, you will hear. Yeah.
Well, where would you go?
I don't have one destination.
Okay, you just travel that
If it's
entire
1
year.
I will travel.
If it's 1 year, I won't stay one place. It would be boring. No, I won't stay one place.
Place to place to place.
I'll be going from place to place. I'll go to
Yeah.
Maldives. I'll go to, so plenty places to go to, so many. But whilst there's 1 year, I won't spend all of it outside Nigeria because Nigeria is fun, though. I'm so boring outside of here. So
Yes.
I'll come back home and spend part of it. And there are a lot of great things to do back here in Nigeria.
Yes, fantastic. So finally, one word for the girl child who's going to watch this, maybe this year, next year, 2 years' time. The lady who is struggling with her career, person who's trying to decide, should I stay my job or not? The person who is leading a team and is wondering, are they respecting me because I'm a woman? The person who's trying to become CEO and is thinking they have a chance. Just go around them and just give her one word.
Okay, be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Be intentional and seek every opportunity to be competent at what you choose to do.
Okay.
Don't take no for an answer. Refuse to be pushed down. You can be great and you can excel at whatever it is set your mind to do. So today is a time to start. Actually, this year, IWD 2025, is a time to have that turnaround and tell yourself, this is the time to move forward. I'm moving forward. I'm going higher. I'm going places. Get a mentor to speak with about what you're going through and learn from what others, did to overcome those challenges you're going through. You'll surely make it. They said the future is now. It's no longer ahead. It's here. So please take it, seize it. And for you to seize it, be committed to improving yourself. You can't continue to do things the same way and expect a different result. So if your current state is not achieving it, then something must change. And be committed to that change. You will surely make it. All the best.
Thank you, Uri.
I would say set your pace, set your terms, be true to yourself, like, they have all said, and do not box yourself. That's like the biggest mistake you can ever make. Do not box yourself. Be open to receive feedback. Set your terms, set your pace, remove the noise from your mind and just go at it, achieve.
I had a boss who would say that feedback is the breakfast of champions. Anytime he gives feedback as is funny, and he tells you, why are you frowning? Feedback is feedback of champions. You should be smiling right now. The thing to just remember is that you're everything. You're everything. It's all in your mind.
Yeah.
The blockages, the opportunities, you know, in your mind. And who you are, whether you're emotional or not, whether you're festy, whether you're pretty, whatever it is you are, it's not a disadvantage. It's just all in your mind. As a man is, that's what the Holy Book says. So he is really. So please bring a carpenter, build your table, build your chair. Competence has no gender. So let's do our accelerate action sign.
Hashtag.
1, 2, 3, go. Accelerate action. Then let's do the FSDH accelerate action. 3, accelerate action. Thank you for watching, guys. We hope you've learned one or two things. You can look us up online. FSDH, we're a leading financial institution in Nigeria. We have a group of companies that is doing amazing things in the financial space, of a merchant bank, of an asset management business. We have capital markets business. We have a pensions business. And if you're wondering what this is, then you should go to fsdhgroup.com, where you can hear everything about everything, and you can follow us across social media. We are everywhere, from Instagram to LinkedIn, to X to Facebook. So get in touch. And if you're looking to build a career in a fast-moving, future-forward, female-enabling organization, you should be thinking about us, because we are all that. So we'll see you next time for another interesting conversation. Until then, thank you for watching, and happy International Women's Day.
Yeah.